Let's talk about Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein right now.
Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews.
So greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name's Doyle, better known to you as the Big D, and this time around I bring to you a review of the 1974 comedy horror flick Young Frankenstein, released by Fox, directed by Mel Brooks, from a screenplay he co-wrote with Gene Wilder, who plays in this movie as the lead role for this. As the title character, a descendant of the infamous Victor Frankenstein. Also along with Peter Boyle as the monster, plus Teri Garr, Cloris Leachman, Marty Feldman, Madeline Kahn, Kenneth, Richard Hayden, and Gene Hackman. The film got released on December 15th, 1974, and was a big hit. Now, of course, the film's a parody of the classic horror film genre, most notably the adaptations of Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, which Universal produced in the 1930s. Now, of course, this would be Brooks' second big hit of the year of 1974, because that same year, his other flick, Blazing Saddles, was released by Warner Bros. Now, I will talk about that film later on down the road. Anyway, much of the lab equipment used as props in the film was created by Kenneth from the 1931 film Frankenstein. To help evoke the atmosphere of the earlier films, Brooks shot the picture entirely in black and white, a rarity in the 1970s, and employed the 1930s style opening credits and scene transitions such as iris outs, wipes, and fades to black. The film also features a period score by Brooks' longtime composer John Morris. Yes, which that score was pretty good. It was very funny and it was a big hit with everyone. Now, when the film celebrated its 40th anniversary in 2014, Brooks considered by far his finest, although not his funniest film, as a writer and director. Well, let's get into the story. Dr. Frederick Frankenstein is a lecturing physician at an American medical school and engaged to Elizabeth, a socialite. Although he prefers that name to be pronounced Frankenstein. He becomes exasperated when anyone brings up the subject of his father, Victor, the infamous mad scientist, and insists that his surname is pronounced Frankenstein, as I just mentioned. When a solicitor informs him that he has inherited his family's estate in Transylvania after the death of his great-grandfather, the Baron Beaufort von Frankenstein, Frankenstein. I still prefer to call it Frankenstein, but bear with me. Frederick travels to Europe to inspect the property. At the Transylvania train station, he is met by a hunchbacked, bug-eyed servant named Igor and a beautiful young female assistant named Inga. Upon hearing that the professor pronounces his name Frankenstein, Igor insists that his name is pronounced Igor rather than the traditional Igor. Upon arrival at the estate, Frederick meets Frau Bluscher, the intimidating housekeeper. After discovering the secret entrance to his grandfather's laboratory and reading his private journals, Frederick decides to resume his grandfather's experiments in reanimating the dead. He and Igor steal the corpse of a recently executed criminal, and Frederick sets to work experimenting on the large corpse. Igor is sent to steal the brain of a deceased scientist and saint named Hans Dilbruck. Startled by his own reflection, he drops and ruins the brain. Taking a second brain labeled abnormal, where he thinks that it's called Abby Normal, Igor returns with it, and Frederick transplants it into the corpse, thinking he has transplanted Del Brooks' brain. Soon, Frederick is ready to reanimate his creature, who is eventually brought to life by electrical charges during a lightning storm. The creature takes the first steps it has, but frightened by the sight of Igor lighting a match, he attacks Frederick and nearly strangles him before he is sedated. Meanwhile, unaware of the creature's existence, the townspeople gather to discuss their unease at Frederick continuing his grandfather's work. Inspector Kemp, a one-eyed police official with a prosthetic arm, whose German accent is so thick that even his own countrymen can't understand him, proposes to visit the doctor, whereupon he demands excuse me, everyone, I'm getting carried away by this assurance that Frankenstein will not create another monster. On returning to the lab, Frederick discovers Blucher setting the creature free. She reveals the monster's love of violin music and her own romantic relationship with Frederick's grandfather. However, the creature is enraged by sparks from a thrown switch and escapes the castle. While roaming the countryside, the monster has encounters with a young girl and a blind hermit, which of course are references to both the original young girl from Frankenstein and the blind hermit from Bride of Frankenstein, respectively. Frederick recaptures the monster and locks himself in a room with it, where he calms the monster's homicidal tendencies with flattery and fully acknowledges his own heritage. Um, once Inga asks if he's from calling Frankenstein, and then he shouts out, "My name is Frankenstein!" Oh boy. At a theater full of illustrious guests, Frederick shows the creature dressed in top hat and tails, following simple commands. The demonstration continues with Frederick and the monster performing the ever popular musical number "Putting on the Ritz," which was from Irving Berlin. Of course, would be a big hit later on in the 80s by the act Taco. Well, maybe not an act, but a singer. However, the routine ends suddenly when a stage light explodes and frightens the monster, who becomes enraged and charges into the audience. When he's captured and chained by police, where he's captured, excuse me. Back in the laboratory, Inga attempts to comfort Frederick, and they wind up sleeping together on the suspended reanimation table. Uh-oh. Okay, that about covers it for now. Now, of course, I'm going to get to the ending. Alright, you know the procedure as always. You have 5 seconds to stop this video. Go to the description box below and fast forward to the time below to avoid the ending spoilers. If you've seen the movie already, continue on. Thank you, and here we go. Okay, you've been warned. The monster escapes when Frederick's fiancée Elizabeth arrives unexpectedly for a visit. Taking her captive as he flees, Elizabeth falls in love with the creature due to his enormous Swanstucker, excuse me. The townspeople hunt for the monster to get the creature back. Frederick plays the violin to lure his creation back to the castle and recaptures him. Just as the Kemp-led mob storms the laboratory, Frankenstein transfers some of his stabilizing intellect to the creature, who, as a result, is able to reason with and placate the mob. Elizabeth, with her hair styled after that of the female creature from the Bride of Frankenstein, marries the now erudite and sophisticated monster. Wow. While Inga, in bed with Frederick, asks what her new husband got in return during the transfer procedure. Well, here's what it was. Frederick growls wordlessly and embraces Inga, who, as Elizabeth did when abducted by the monster, sings the refrain, "Ah, sweet mystery of life." End of story. So, what did I think of Young Frankenstein? Well, I've seen it several times, and I've got to say, this film is an absolute blast from start to finish. This is what kind of got me interested into this film. After I saw a brief clip from it in the Adam Sandler flick Big Daddy. So I decided to give the dice a roll and give it a try. And after I watched it, it was fun. Probably one of the most outrageously funny spoofs in horror we got long before Scary Movie. But anyway, yeah, this was just so much fun. Really incredible. Anyway, the film did so well, it went on to make 86 million. And well, everyone's really been a big support for this. They really enjoyed it. And I gotta say, this is just so much fun. I like John Morris's score for the film. It's absolutely good. The cast is absolutely good. We have, of course, Gene Wilder as Dr. Frankenstein. Of course, he recently appeared the in Brooks' recent hit, Blazing Saddles, and he also did Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and The Producers. Of course, he was also voicing the title character of the Electric Company's animated hero, Letterman, at the time as well. Playing the monster is Peter Boyle, who, of course, would later go on to be a big star on TV's Everybody Loves Raymond. I know he did lots of other things as well. I've also seen him in the Santa Claus trilogy as well. Marty Feldman as Igor, definitely very funny. Cloris Leachman, whom we sadly lost this earlier this year, I think it was. Let me have one last glance. We sadly lost her earlier this year as Frau Blucher. Very good. Of course, she would appear in another one of Brooks' films, and that would be High Anxiety in 1977, which Brooks did after he did Silent Movie. Teri Garr, very good as Inga. Kenneth Mars, who I know that guy is, of course, well known for doing his voice acting work in several things, most notably King Triton in Disney's The Little Mermaid, as Inspector Kemp, really good. Madeline Kahn, who also would appear in some of Mel Brooks' films like High Anxiety, she plays Elizabeth, very good. Richard Hayden playing Gerhard Falkstein, really good. We have Gene Hackman as Harold the Blind Man. Let's see. Mel Brooks, does the voices for the voice of Victor Frankenstein, a cat hit by a dart, and a werewolf. Because he's listed on screen in open credits under Wit. Yep. Well, there's so many others as well. Hang on a second. Aha, yeah. And if you watch the movie closely, there's also Arthur Mallet, who would play the graveyard keeper in John Carpenter's Halloween. He actually appears in this as well as a village elder. Yeah, really something. So anyway, yep. There's so much fun stuff in. I think you'll really like this movie. So in the end, with a great cast, a great story. Yeah, the story was great too. And all that jazz, a good score. Would I recommend Young Frankenstein? The answer is hell yeah. This is definitely one flick you cannot afford to miss. I really am glad to be watching this more than I could even imagine. And well, Young Frankenstein is just so much fun. Now, you will get reviews of some more Mel Brooks films down the road. I plan to review Blazing Saddles sometime. I might do Silent Movie and High Anxiety, but I also plan to do History of the World Part 1, which turned 40 this year, so you'll get a review of that as well. I know we did some other stuff before those. Well, this and Blazing Saddles, but anyway. And of course, I mentioned Mel Brooks was part of the Electric Company as well because he voiced them blonde-haired dude in animated segment. Well, if you've seen my TV lobby, you know what I mean. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on Young Frankenstein. Do you like this movie? You can tell me in the comment section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Join me next time when I bring to you a review of Wes Craven's Shocker. Thank you for watching, and join me. And wait a minute, I'm getting ahead. My bad. I already said join me next time. Duh. I'm getting carried away. My bad. Alright, if you like this video, check out these other ones. And these are both the films that inspired this film. In the upper left-hand corner is my review of the original Frankenstein from 1931. The upper right-hand corner is my review of Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. Or, if you'd like, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my TV log for The Electric Company, which of course I mentioned Mel Brooks and Gene Wilder were part of animated segments. In the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe if you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc. Then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.